Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast, and now here he is, the grumpy cat of podcasting. I'm Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Oh, what a special night. A huge night. The recap 2, only a couple of weeks ago. It feels like just yesterday. Do you remember that time that we recapped the recap earlier this season? Oh, I feel like it was just yesterday, and it almost was. But no, we're back again on a Friday night special for Recap of the Recap 2. And we had Matt Hoffman join us on Recap of the Recap 1. And the Hoff couldn't be here tonight, but his Reality Game Masters compatriot is here. Please welcome in the winner of Big Brother 14, who once did a recap of the recap in the Big Brother house, the great Ian Terry. Ian, how are you?
I'm doing well, Rob. Thank you for having me on here.
Oh, good. Well, it was a pleasure to get you here on short notice. And Ian, we are all in for a treat tonight, like Big Meech with a giant bowl of milk.
Yeah, I know, Rob. What are the odds you couldn't find any other Big Brother player with nothing to do on a Friday?
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. All right, and then also joining us to talk about, I'm sure, what is a scintillating week of the live feeds. First, man, I think, what is this, 3 shows in a row for Alex Kidwell? Alex, how are you?
I'm doing all right, something like that. A lot of crying tonight. I feel like crying right now, Rob. This is all just kind of depressing.
Yes, why? Depressing that the season is coming to an end?
No, just depressing that this episode was an episode.
No. Look, Hamster Watch said it earlier tonight. Like, better get it out of the way tonight than have it in the finale, right?
Or just not at all.
Yes. All right, and then of course we want to go ahead and bring in a man who was here for recap of the recap 1. Welcome back, Taran Armstrong. Taran, how are you?
I'm fantastic. It's recap squared. It's all over the place. It's recapception.
Recapception.
I'm excited.
Yes, we have to go into the recap to fix the recap. All right. So, of course, we're going to take your questions. Hashtag RHAP. Scott St. Pierre is going to bring those up for us later on in the show. And we will have live feed spoilers to talk about how part 1 of the HOH competition worked out and what's the latest from going on inside of the house here on Recap of the Recap 2. So let's pick things up. And there's just so much recap to recap that I think we should go through this just in complete chronological order like last time, just to make sure there's nothing that we don't miss from the recap of the recap. Does that sound fair?
It's important because I imagine about 90% of our listeners did not watch this episode. So they really need to be informed.
Yes. This is one of the few podcasts you don't have to watch the show to get the recap here tonight. So, Ian, first off, just before we jump into the recap of the recap, how's everything going in your world?
It's been pretty good lately. School has been in session for like a little bit over a month now, which is always good. Classes are going pretty well, so I can't complain. Definitely, it's been a good Big Brother season for me. I've enjoyed this one more than any since my own, which I know is not a popular opinion, but I've actually really liked this one.
The recap?
No, the actual season. The recap.
Oh,
I couldn't tell you one thing about any. I couldn't tell you anything about my own recap. I skipped it. I didn't watch that episode.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ian, is there anything that you want to talk to us about just in terms of putting this in so we can understand exactly how this is done in the Big Brother house when you sit down here? This was like a final 3 breakfast. I feel like that's unusual.
Yeah. No, we had the breakfast too as well. And, I definitely was hoping we would get like a nice steak dinner because I'm not a really big breakfast person. First thing I remember about it was that the portion sizes were like, I felt like it was designed for a Snorlax or something to be eating. Like it was a complete waste of food. I remember just having like so much that it was like as if they put an entire buffet in front of us. I ate like a few pieces of French toast and felt bad that the rest was getting thrown away.
Oh, so it was a big portion for the Big Brother Final 3 breakfast.
Huge portions. I mean, that could have fed a family of 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They had all the baby things this time.
What's that?
They had all the baby things. What was it? Like the baby
table?
Yeah, like the baby table. There was like a baby condiment.
They're cutting the budget, Taran. That's
Yeah.
it. We gotta start spending money on BB18. So we have to use some of that breakfast budget somewhere. All right,
Split the breakfast.
All right, so we had our we started off before we even got to the recap of the recap. We started off with Nicole really being still sad about Corey being gone here, and we found out that Nicole is her only consolation here, like shades of Gina Marie with Nick Uhas's hat, is that Corey is gone and he forgot his pillow, and Corey's pillow is named Rory. Taran, did we know this? Did we know that Corey had a pillow named Rory?
Well, we knew he had a dog named Rory. I didn't know he named his pillow the same thing. It seems like a little redundant, right? Like, why name the pillow Rory when the dog is named Rory?
Maybe he's like George Foreman. He names everything Rory. Alex, is that right? I want to make sure I didn't get this incorrect.
Doesn't the pillow have a picture of the dog on it? Is that why?
Yeah. That's like
We're making
two
fun of
pictures.
Am I like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills right now. Am I the only one that sees the logical explanation?
Yeah. Ian, it's not like a taxidermy thing?
That'd be a weird looking dog if that were a taxidermy.
Oh, it would be so good though. It's the right name.
Yeah.
Scrubs.
All right. So so much about Corey and the dog, and then everything was cats tonight also. It really feels like that Big Brother was just going full cat lady with everything that was like trying to appeal to the key demographic of the Big Brother audience, Ian.
Here's a show that knows its audience and it's following. That's for sure.
Yeah. Surprised they talk so much about dogs when they know everybody loves cats. Just one bit of strategy that was going on here in this episode. Paul trying to lock down a final two with James and then locking down a final two with Nicole. Ian, did you like this sort of talk here from Paul to try to really shore up his bases with both people? Or do you feel like, as Taran stated the other night, this is a dangerous game to play?
I mean, I have my own opinions about this idea of a final two deal. And the reality of it is I don't think that a final true deal truly ever exists. I really don't. I think that in the primal stages of the game, it just comes down to who you would like to sit next to, who you think you have a better chance of, who you like more, perhaps, things like that. I don't know that final two deals really exist. It's so primal at that point, if that makes sense.
Okay. Taran, do you feel like that they depicted these final two conversations fairly?
Yeah, James does want to stick with Paul at the moment, and Nicole is very unsure about taking Paul. She thinks that she probably has a better chance against James at the moment.
Okay. All right. So the day 39 breakfast then begins, and we start off with a montage of how everybody was crying this season. Ian, for your money, BB18, did it feature more or less crying than a replacement level season of Big Brother?
Well, I mean, I think that the average is really tipped because of Big Brother 8 and Amber's antics. However, I would say that it had a pretty fair amount of crying, but I mean, I remember the commercials from before this season seemed to feature crying a lot. They'd love to put that in the ads. So I think this is pretty average, right?
Yeah. Well, let's go around the panel and talk about what was your favorite crying moment from the crying montage. Taran, if you had to pick one, which was your favorite crying of the season?
I don't think it can be even remotely close. I think the butterfly, they brought it up throughout the entire segment, and it was the best one every single time. It's so good. It's so amazing.
Yeah, I like that this is turning into like the Big Brother Canada awards of the season. Yeah, anybody differ on the opinion? Paulie and the butterfly was the greatest moment of the crying montage. Ian, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I really liked for me, my favorite crying moment was just the Apple incident. Because I remember watching that on the feeds and just being like utterly confused as to what was going on the entire time.
Can you set up the Apple incident for people who didn't watch the recap?
Right. Well, so if you don't remember that was, Paul put like shaving cream or something in Michelle's tea or water. And then to get back at him, she threw an apple at him, but threw it so hard that it left this like absurd welt on his like side area.
Yeah,
there.
I actually think I have the clip from that. Let me see if I can play this.
There's a big bruise on him now. It's right where his kidney is.
Big me.
You didn't hurt me. No, you didn't.
I don't want him to be mad at me. I just don't want to be seen as a violent person because I'm not.
Ian, I had that clip on the soundboard the whole season. I never had one reason to play it. So thank you for giving me that opportunity to play that 28-second clip.
My thing about that, though, was watching it, I had no idea what was going on as I was watching it on the feeds. I didn't understand like any of the context as to what was happening. But the funniest part of me for me was this was like right when the school year had just started. And there's this guy at work. I didn't know he watched Big Brother at all. I didn't know he followed that. I didn't know that he knew who I was. He never mentioned it once to me, except on like the second day of school or in a meeting, and he just comes up to me. It's like, saw that crying incident last night on Big Brother. And it's like, oh, I didn't know you watched. And he goes, that's what you have to look forward to. And then he just walked away.
Cover your kidneys, Ian.
I was like, what? So pretty fun moment there. Really entertaining.
Yes. Ian, will you consider not having a lot of produce at your house if you ever are visited by Big Meech?
I think the only produce I'm going to have is large watermelons that are cut in half, ready to eat with a spoon.
Yeah. All right. Well, be careful. She doesn't get like an Amazing Race type slingshot where she could really fire that produce all over the place. All right.
As long as she's not seen as a violent person.
Yeah, just want to be seen as a violent person. So then we went into like a whole retelling of the Paulie versus Natalie, the whole week leading up to the eviction of Paulie. Alex, do you feel like that the Big Brother editors were trying to really throw Paulie under the proverbial bus?
I mean, we've seen all that stuff before. I don't think that it's, I don't think there was one new piece of footage there, and I think the public perception is formed. So usually the edit does tend to try to conform with like, oh, let's give the people what they want to see. And the people want to see some, Paulie being stupid and Paulie being a jerk. So they can be like, oh, yeah, Paulie, that jerk. Look at him being a jerk.
Yeah, Ian, I'm interested to know your take on this. So how does something like that where they say, okay, let's go back, let's do like 5-6 minutes on the night that Paulie got into the fight with Natalie. Was that just because it was the best fight of the season, or do they say like that they want to particularly like bump somebody up as a memorable villain where they're trying to really make Paulie look bad in the eyes of the audience? Because they also showed, I was surprised that they went back to the Paul calls Big Meech the C word in this episode as well.
I do find it interesting that that's what they choose to bring back, but I guess those were some of the most memorable moments. And we had already gotten the best fight of the season, which was obviously Paulie versus Dave Hahn and Jerry, but they have to bring these things up, so it made sense to me.
Yeah,
if you're going to do a segment on fights, those are definitely worthy.
Yeah, so we had the whole Paul versus Natalie versus Big Meech. Taran, does the story change at all for you now that we know how it was going to end for all the players involved in that?
In what sense?
Is it any funnier, less funny that we know that it was basically Big Meech calling out Paulie, that his game was going to get blown up, and basically all three of those players were not going to be factoring into the end game?
Yeah, it was very funny hearing them say, oh, your game is gone, your game is blown up. Like, oh, no, your game is blown. You're going home no matter what. And like, like all of the arguments really involved that. Like when they showed Day and Frank, and they were telling each other they were going home. I mean, they were all telling each other the truth.
Yeah.
But like, what really highlighted for me, like the Paulie montage, it really highlighted his like douche voice. Where just like when he gets into a fight, he overly articulates things, and he tries to speak like exceptionally calm. Like, listen, you cannot do this right now. It was just ridiculous.
How could I potentially be a person who goes out of the game when you are going on the block? You're going home, Big Meech. Ian doesn't even like you.
It's just that she's going home and you'll surely be next.
Yeah. I believe that was right at that moment when he did discuss you, Ian.
It actually, if I'm remembering right, I think that's the thing is like, it's like you won't have the $500,000 either. And then I think when she storms off, I think that is when he brought me up now that you mention it. Yeah.
How can you?
I knew it looks familiar.
If you can't even handle me right now when I'm being soft with you, how could you handle me at a later date? if I'm going to be hard with you. Yeah.
I don't think anyone wants him to be hard with them, except for maybe,
No, how could you even handle? So I don't know. So anyway, but you'll be laughing all the way to the jury house. Ian, what did you think of the Paulie scene from the jury house the other night?
Well, that was just incredible television. I think Davon should be on every season of Big Brother from now on. I mean, at first last year I was skeptical. It took me a little while to kind of like warm to like how Big Brother is now, like the modern version, but I've totally warmed up to it. And I find Davon hilarious. I think she is well exceeded expectations for casting. A plus casting. I think she was a big casting risk, great choice. And I think Paul was a big casting risk, and that was an awesome choice. So really well done.
Alex, are you a fan of bringing back Davon every single season, a la, say, like a Brooklyn Brawler or Doink the Clown into the Royal Rumble?
No.
You don't think that would be fun? That would be a fun twist. Every season, Davon is in the house?
Not especially.
So, all right. Well,
I feel like we know what she brings to the table, and while it's entertaining in short bursts, it's not necessarily what I watch Big Brother for.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. If we were going to bring back one person every single season, would you rather it be like a Devin or a Jose, Ian?
I mean,
or a Willie Hance?
I think Devin's extremely entertaining, but I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of people that I would like to see again that are not good players, but I just find endlessly entertaining. And Devin is very high on that list.
Okay, speaking of endlessly entertaining, we had a montage of all of the pranks. Now, absolutely, Ian, you would have to say that that this was a above replacement level prank season of Big Brother, right? Hold on, you're not talking. We're not seeing you.
I mean,
reaction.
It's just, enough of this. I've had it. If I have to see one more time of someone getting cold water thrown on them in the shower, I might just puke. I mean, enough is enough. This stop being fun. Who is this appealing to? Are there
everyone
like cat ladies that are just like sitting in their house saying, "Whoa, he threw the cold water again"?
So many claps.
Whoa, whoa. 12 feet away. Is that happening? Is that what this is?
Yes. You had the cold water in the shower. You had the baby powder.
I know what to do next time I'm on. Yeah.
You had the old water dripping in the ear, classic prank.
Oh, yeah. Great one.
Alex, what was your favorite prank of the night?
This episode.
All right, well, that leads us into one of the greatest pranks in the history of Big Brother, or maybe even humanity. They call it the case of the missing Crocs. The old case of the missing Crocs came up. Taran, were you a fan of the parable of the missing Crocs?
I was at first, but then it just kind of dragged on and then like had no ending whatsoever. Ultimately, like the funniest part of that entire segment.
You mean like this Big Brother season?
Yeah. Oh. Like the funniest part of that entire segment to me was the idea that James would actually say those words in those combinations, right? Like that was not James at all.
Yeah. Ian, how does something like this happen? So is James presented a script in the diary room to read off of, like sort of like he's hosting a competition in the diary room, or is it sort of like, all right, James, repeat after me. Say, all right, I am looking for my Crocs. I probably held his hand up to the culprit. How do they do that?
I think, that was the thing for me as I was watching it. I was thinking the same thing. It almost sounds like as if like there's someone with a cue card or something, and it's like, and the smell could raise a man across the Pacific Ocean. And I'm just, it's like someone is just like having to like rapidly hold them up for him. Because it seems, it actually reminds me of like, if you're trying to read like the scroll at the bottom of like the news channel and you're like a little bit ahead of where it's supposed to be. That's what it reminded me of. I don't know where this came from. I don't know how it was done, but something else for me. I have no idea.
Did they fill James in on the concept of what they're trying to do when they're having like, okay, now say this, now say this? Are they telling him like, okay, so James, we're thinking this is going to be sort of like a film noir. You're like a private dick. Like, whoa, hey, no, James, it's a detective. It means it's a detective. It's sort of like it's going to be like a black and white type thing. And he's like, okay, I could see it. All right, I'm in on this. Or do they just have him like say things and he has no idea what's going on?
I have no idea because they never did anything like this with me. I have no clue. That's the thing. People always say, like, do they make you say stuff in the DR? I'm like, I came up with my own material. I have no idea what they're doing with him.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason they never showed him in the DR saying those words, because he was probably looking down at a sheet of paper the entire time, going, "What am I doing right now?"
Yeah. Alex, James says that I've been known to catch a fox or two in my day. True or false?
Oh, I wish I had a buzzer, Rob.
I don't know, man. He wears
Maybe a literal one
to the airport.
Yeah, and CBS didn't do him any favors. If he's trying to break into acting or something, they really could have set him up a lot cushier. I mean, he's towards the end. It's so bad. I did not know if I was the cat chasing the prey or if I was the mouse being chased by a cat. Like, oh.
Ian, is this a prelude to James appearing on The Bold and the Beautiful sometime in October?
God, I hope so.
Yeah, they're gonna see that segment and be like, "Oh, we have to have him."
Yeah,
dude, you're going in the back.
Case of the missing Crocs. Did he also say, Alex, that here came like Natalie walked in and she was a nice set? Did he say? Did I have that right?
I'm not sure about that, Rob. You may have that right, but if so, I didn't catch it.
I don't know.
And he could have gone with. He could have made it more like time oriented and gone with gams. I guess.
I don't know. Taran, did they end this also with a Chinatown reference?
Yes, they definitely did, and it did not hit.
Not play. James did not hit the line of forget it. It's Crocs down.
So bad. I was like, where's the actual punchline?
I don't know. It went on very long, Ian. This was a very long segment on the case of the missing Crocs.
Yeah, I popped my headphones in and just stopped paying attention to it after a while.
All right. Then we got the segment of everybody coming into the diary room, and we had some people that I felt like production did throw under the bus. Alex, did you find it to be intentional when they showed Zakiya saying she hates it when she gets asked questions?
I mean, of course, of all the moments they have of Zakiya, surely they have a moment that doesn't make her look like an unintelligible nitwit, which is like what this moment is designed to do. I don't like when people ask me questions. I mean, come on, that's like half of life.
Yeah, definitely. You said some frustration on the part of the producers there. A lot of Jose here, Taran.
Yeah. Oh man, when Jose walks in and we get the first sighting. Yeah, that was
Covering.
I mean, that's Jose. That's Jose for you.
Yeah, that was great. A lot of like lying down across the chair in the diary room. Ian, is that a more common move than we know? Is there a lot of like people walk in the diary room? Yeah,
I did that a lot actually. It's just they don't show it, and I was glad to see it a little bit. I was like, hey, that reminds me of the good old days.
Yeah. Why do they do a chair like that? Why not have a chair with sort of an upright back so people aren't like, we don't see a lot of confessional where people are sort of horizontal.
I think it was because originally, if I'm remembering like the older seasons, they would have maybe like 2-3 people in there at any given time. And also, if I remember back in the older seasons, people would like lay out like this and be like, oh my God. But so, I mean, it's the same chair, just re-upholstered every summer. So get rid of that thing.
Yeah.
Josh would be like laying upside down, petting the iguana while he smoked to the DR.
Yeah, there's also that weird clip with Paulie in the diary room. What was going on there, Ian?
Yeah, where he was kind of like laying down and then he like looks and then it makes like a what noise and I was like, what did he do? Pop a boner or something?
Yeah, like a wardrobe malfunction. I wasn't really sure what they were going for, Taran.
Yeah, Paulie's pose too was like, it was like half model pose, half like, oh, woe is me.
Half George Costanza being photographed for in his underwear.
It's exactly it.
Scott knows what I'm talking about. So yeah, it was bizarre. That was bizarre. All right. Then we had a bit of everybody crying in the diary room. Alex, I did feel like that they were throwing Tiffany under the bus also tonight.
I guess, but at least she got some airtime.
At least she got
Not
some
everyone can say that, really.
Yeah, I feel like I was so pumped up. I had a Bronte sighting also, Ian.
Yeah, for a good 2 minutes, 2 seconds actually. I mean, I don't even know what that was in the context of, to be honest.
Yeah.
They don't even know her.
Yeah. Ian, they also had Frank giving like a pretty dead on this guy Paul, all he does is say friendship and pissed. That's all he says.
So annoying.
So annoying.
I mean, yeah, looking back, that just seems like such a Frank thing to say in the DR. Just knowing him in person too.
Yeah, that he was not loving it. Then we got a little bit of the Paul and Victor bromance. The Paul and Victor bromance was happening, Taran.
Yeah, as Nicole pointed out like 3 times in the montage, oh, you guys are like a married couple. Yeah, I mean, this is their relationship. A lot of it was pulled from recent days, where I think they've been closer and they've felt more comfortable hanging out with Nicole and Corey. But they definitely have an interesting relationship, and there are shows together in that little side room. I forget what it's called.
Mm-hmm. Friendship Times.
Great. Yes, Friendship Times.
Yeah. So Nicole is hot for Corey. We know we got a montage of really Nicole just sort of like drooling over Corey outside, but then things took a rather odd turn as we got like the 70s pornographic film music to then Corey doing like some sort of like a yoga pose as depicted behind me here, and then Paulie goes on top of him. All right, so let's get the breakdown of what's going on here, Ian.
No.
You didn't know that's what they meant when they talked about ride or die, did you, Rob?
That's a ride or die, right?
Yeah. This is why I don't like to go to the gym, Rob.
This is what happens at gyms. People just walking around in underwear. Poor Nicole, she doesn't know where to look.
Hey, bro, do you need a spot? And they would just climb on top. Whoa, what's going on here?
Alex, do we have any information whether was Nicole on board with this? Was Nicole like, okay, this is intriguing? That this or was this really like cold water, like being like a prank of throwing cold water on Nicole at this point?
I don't remember. I feel like she's pretty indifferent. Corey is all the time like talking about guys' butts and like you know looking and making jokes and that kind of stuff. She usually just kind of ignores it, I feel like.
What is going on?
That was me during that segment. Yeah. It was just like...
Yeah. Alex, well, what pose is that we have Paulie doing? What do you call that?
The flying buttress.
Flying buttress. Yeah. Ian, will you and Jeff Weldon be doing a selfie like this sometime this weekend?
Definitely not, man. Definitely not. No.
Did Corey invite Paulie to do this, or was this Paulie's idea, Taran?
Well, based on how it was edited, Paulie just kind of walked up, and then we get a nice overhead shot from Paulie's butt down to Corey, just like, you better be ready for this, boy. And then he sits on top of him. So I don't know. It seems like he just kind of took a seat.
Yeah.
You can call it a giant bromance.
Yes, that was odd. That was weird. And then we go from that right into more Corey and Nicole. The big Corey and Nicole fight, which I have to say, I really don't understand what they got into a big fight over. It seemed like that. So Nicole comes outside. She had taken a shower, and Corey said they needed to go running. And he said, okay, come on, we gotta get into this running. And he said, I guess your true colors are starting to show. And you're like, are you kidding me right now? That was it. That was like the big fight, and she couldn't believe what he said. Ian, what was the trigger for Nicole here?
Maybe he called her a Fruit Loop dingus or something.
Is that what it was? Alex, could you give us context about what was it that Corey said, which was really made Nicole so upset? Your true colors?
Yeah, it's that. And there was some context there about like how that was already a comment I think that Paulie used about Zakiya maybe or something, but where like there's existing context
That's
within the
regrettable.
season
Yeah.
where like it was used seriously. So she just like doesn't like hearing it and assumes the worst. And then top it off with, we see at least one of these every season where it's just like, you're trapped in the house with nothing to do for 80, 90 days. Like people are going to eventually make mountains out of molehills at some point.
I was kidding. Oh, I was kidding. No, kidding. So that was weird. I didn't get what was going on there. But the happier times, we got to see. We had a literal montage of a plant, Ian.
Mr. Jenkins, yeah.
Alex loves Mr. Jenkins.
It's my favorite house guest.
They asked me, like, how did they get something to write Mr. Jenkins on there? And I'll answer this. Anytime you would get, like, something for, like, competition or, you know, like your clothes, they would have, like, the costume would have, like, a piece of tape with your name on it. So what she did was she just took everybody's and just ripped the letters apart and just taped it across the mug.
Okay, so that's behind the scenes of Mr. Jenkins. Taran, are you as high on Mr. Jenkins as Alex is?
You know, Alex really loves Mr. Jenkins, but
He
I
does.
feel like it sometimes gets in the way of his analysis of Mr. Jenkins' game. You know, he did outlast Bridget, but then he really dropped the ball. Natalie is weak, and he got sent right home with Natalie. So I don't know. I just feel like not the greatest game.
It's never
I
evicted.
know it's not popular.
Never evicted. It's technicality. Never evicted.
Overall,
It's like Pablo.
far too
Yes.
dependent on competitions in my mind.
Oh
Just
yeah,
far too-
definitely.
Yeah. Ian, which was the better inanimate named object this season, Pablo or Mr. Jenkins?
I think Pablo is more iconic, but
think so.
I think they both did it. You know, it's
Sorry,
really
Alex.
just.
Hey, Michelle gave Pablo a serious bump when she stole him. I mean, that you can't compete with that.
There's
Was
a
that what
reason-
Natalie was going for when she took Mr. Jenkins out of the house?
No, it's the opposite. Like Michelle's move was a heel move. I'm gonna take this. Natalie's move was a face move. Like I'm gonna give this back to Bridget, who really wants it.
Okay. All right. So speaking of Big Meech, we got a Big Meech segment in the recap of the recap. All right, Ian. So Big Meech is another, again, more cat imagery. Big Meech is grumpy cat. And so literally all summer, they put a bowl of milk by her bed all season long.
Yes.
I remember when Victor said in his eviction speech, like, okay, I'm going to miss being, giving you milk in the jury house. And we saw that again during the competition the other day. I didn't know they were like actually putting bowls of milk by her bed all season long.
yeah, they were.
It's an underreported story.
I mean, Taran, this seems like not that hilarious to keep doing it day after day after day.
I mean, like they didn't do it every single day, but
How many days out of whatever 80 days Big Meech was in the house? How many days did they put a bowl of milk by her while she was sleeping?
I wasn't keeping track of how many days.
I mean, did they do it 10 times? Did they do it 2 times?
I don't know. It was a
Somewhere
few
between
times.
there. I remember
Yeah.
seeing it and being referenced several times.
Okay.
Like maybe like a week or two. But yeah, I mean, it like the entire thing was just like really funny, right? We're like the fact that she plays into it, right? Like she gets really into this cat role to the point where she's like hiding under couches and doing that thing that cats do, which is like grab out at your foot. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Ian, is Big Meech Catwoman?
I don't know what that is. Yeah,
Alex,
sure.
as the DC Comics expert, could you see that being a trajectory for Big Meech outside of the house?
You know, that second Tim Burton movie with the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman, where what?
Also, Big Meech.
Christopher Walken pushes her out the window, and then she like comes back to life, and now she's like ready to like scratch people's eyes out. Yeah, I could see it.
Meech Pfeiffer. Could be.
Big Meech Pfeiffer.
Big Meech Pfeiffer. Okay. So then we got to see a montage of Victor is jolly and Victor has a laugh. Taran, could you do a Victor laugh?
That's really good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. Alex, do you have a Victor laugh?
I'm not beating that one, so I'm gonna pass.
All right. I was going to cut it for the soundboard. I was like, why? Why? How many more times are we going to have the Victor laugh?
Well, when somebody's joke doesn't land, we can just play Victor's laugh.
Yeah. Ian, why was Victor so jolly when he kept getting evicted all summer long?
Because he kept coming back all summer long, obviously.
Yes, that's why he was happy. He felt like he was indestructible.
I still find it amazing that someone had to be evicted 3 times before they were totally out of the game. That's why, that's one of those things I've come to terms with over the years.
Ian, if Victor had a 4th life in the game, do you think he would have won?
Probably not.
How many buybacks, rebuys would Victor have needed to win the game?
I think we would need 5 total chances. 5 total chances.
Yeah. So we'll play it out. Look, so if he went out at the final 5, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And then he came back in, and then it was final 5 again. Paul wins HOH in that spot, so he would have been safe there. Either so Corey would have gone out, but then James and Natalie, so James and Nicole would have been in the mix for HOH again. Now Paul can't play. Would Victor have beaten Nicole at Final 4 HOH 2.0? Taran?
Probably not. You'd imagine it's another quiz competition kind of thing. So, yeah, Victor probably goes there. But then he comes back again and he gets another shot. And so,
if he had 5 chances, Ian, I think he could get to the end.
5 total. 5 total chances.
I think he can do it at that point. All right. So then we had a reset of the Big Meech versus Paul stuff, which I feel like, Alex, is this going to be a blow for Paul's chances for America's Favorite Player?
Oh, well, sure, I guess. But,
if he's in the running.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people who might potentially vote for Paul are voting for Victor because Paul, by making it this far, it seems I feel like they never let the final 2 win America's Favorite Player. So, but to hedge your bets,
To me, I was just really surprised that this was like, I get the whole thing. Okay, the Paulie thing, that was a big fight, but in terms of like how good of TV this was, like I feel like that this fight isn't really great TV. And then also you have Paul, who's a potential winner here, who I think is like, why are we reminding people that Paul did this if we want to potentially have a likable winner?
This might be crazy, but I feel like it was almost a good thing for Paul. I feel like they were airing this as, look at something that Paul did well, because they put it in context of, look at how he got James and Natalie to screw up, and then Nicole and Corey then figured this out and then sided with Paul. They were like, look at, like, this is potentially his worst moment, but it was a good strategy move. And so they could be setting us up for a Paul win here.
Well, the other part of it is that then it sets up James's worst moment in the house. That is outside of the case of the missing Crocs. I mean, that really is, knowing how it all works out. That's a really damning moment for James, because in the retelling of it, I had thought that it was Natalie that first volunteered that information. It's James who blurts out, well, Natalie is trying to talk me into voting on Corey. And to be honest, I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh boy. And that is Natalie. That's terrible in hindsight. He knew it was bad in the first time around, but just to go back and look at that, I mean, that is a disastrous blunder.
Now, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Natalie just like looks straight at Corey and goes, yep, that's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when she was throwing James under the bus that whole week, she doesn't really highlight that as like, boy, that was really bad. James really got us pretty good with that one.
They really didn't recognize it as a mistake. Like, they really thought like, oh, it's totally fine that Natalie would be campaigning for Victor to stay over Corey. That they won't mind.
Yeah, that was very bad. All right. So then we had a toast for the people that are gone. Ian, was this the first time we did the in memoriam segment on Big Brother?
I don't know if it was the first. I think it was the first time it was specifically done like that. And to be honest, the giant grayscale faces on the screen creeped me out.
No, it was wonderful. It was wonderful.
It was too creepy for me. No.
Yeah.
Seeing Glenn up there. No, pass. No thanks.
No, you didn't like it?
Really weird. Didn't like it. You know what I liked? I can't remember if it was Big Brother 10 or like The Apprentice 3 or something, where they gave them like a little photo album. That was the best one of those they ever did.
It was either Big Brother 10 or Apprentice 3?
Or both. I don't remember which.
Yeah. Alex, did you like this? I know that they do it on The Talking Dead.
Yeah, it doesn't play too well there either.
So you that only Mr. Jenkins, that was the only thing you liked from tonight?
I like that they showed some of the competition.
Yes.
They could have showed all of it.
I love the in memoriam segment, Taran. I thought this was really good, and I liked it. I liked that they did Victor 3 times. I liked that they showed Glenn trying to jump on the rocket.
Yeah, we got to see Glenn again. How can you not want to see Glenn, even if it is a creepy face on the screen? Like, come on.
Yeah, they tried to show him jumping on the rocket a bunch of times. I love that they had Pablo in the in memoriam segment.
Okay, that was actually clever. Yeah, I liked that.
That was good. Yeah, so that was great. And
It's very Survivor-esque.
It was perfect. I love the in memoriam segment. I would like to see that added They haven't done that on Big Brother Canada and any of the award shows that they've done, Taran?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's a drop ball if they didn't do it on Big Brother Canada for doing an award show.
Right?
Drop ball. But maybe they have. Maybe the chat room can tell us if they had it or not. Okay, all right, Alex, here we go. We got to the start of the final 3 challenge, and with $500,000 on the line, everybody get into your kitty outfit, and you're going to chase a laser pointer. This is Big Brother.
It sure is. This is what you do for $500,000.
Yeah. Ian,
Get to scrambling.
Right. And I always laugh when I think back to when we did a preseason preview, myself and Jordan Parhar, to talk about why a Survivor fan should watch Big Brother. And I remember in the Big Brother subreddit that there were a bunch of people that were killing me about talking about how not serious I was about Big Brother when I was describing how the season was going to play out. Yet here we are, Ian. Everybody is in a kitten costume, chasing a laser pointer, and playing with cat toys to determine part 1 of our final HOH of the season.
You know, as whenever the challenges took a sillier turn, because I remember them being like pretty serious, like, showdowns in the early seasons. There wasn't much like costuming. It was like games you could play in your own backyard. I thought they were really silly at first, but then I came to enjoy the juxtaposition of adult double dare for $500,000. Like that's it started to appreciate that for me.
Yeah. Okay. I could see it. I could see it.
Don't you see what was going on, Rob? This is all a conspiracy. They were rigging it for Big Meech.
Oh, Ian, is that it? They make these contests ahead of time, and it was all rigged for Big Meech to win Grumpy Cat in the final 3?
Well, no, they make these competitions ahead of time. They're already planning out. They don't know who's going to be there, Rob.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So
it doesn't make any sense.
But it was rigged for Big Meech to ultimately get to the end and win, and they screwed up the plan by voting her out.
No,
it's the houseguest. They always get in the way, voting people out like that.
Yeah, Big Meech. She had it. She would have. I gotta be honest, I don't really understand how this competition works, Alex. Maybe you could explain this to me. So the laser pointer goes, and then you have to run around and chase the laser pointer, and then the laser pointer like lands on something that you have to like hang on and like hang on for endurance.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes then you get down and go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't the point of the endurance competition? Yeah, isn't the point of the endurance competition that you have to like endure in one place?
Well, you're enduring a sequence of endurances, Rob, at this point. And it's just, somebody will fall out and then they'll keep chasing. And I guess, eventually you can't do it anymore or you just don't want to.
Yeah. Ian, do you like the laser pointer endurance challenge?
I mean, personally, I don't think they ever should have strayed away from putting them in some absurd weather situation and having them hang onto a key. Like, I really liked that they went from rain to a giant snowball to an earthquake, and then they just ditched it for a giant safe. Like, I don't know. I like the old hang onto your key thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ian, what did you do? Was it snow? Which one was yours?
No, ours was that awful rain one where they kept dunking us into the water. And I remember, like, having a hard time holding my breath because there was a breath holding component to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't feel like there's like some gravity there.
Yeah, I remember like choking on seaweed or something. It was pretty terrible.
Yeah. And no kitten costume.
No cat costume.
No laser pointer.
No, just giant fishing equipment was the theme.
Yeah. But Taran, do you feel like that Big Brother for the large percentage of the cat lady viewing audience, do you feel like that they've like finally something I can really sink my teeth into?
It's just they're slowly turning Big Brother more and more into just cats in a house, and because they know their audience, and they're just trying to transform people into cats. That's the entire social experiment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that is interesting. So eventually, like you put a bunch of people all in one house. It's like having a bunch of cats.
Yeah.
You get to watch them.
And cats vote each other out all the time.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
And then at the end of the season, they put on a musical.
Yeah, they put on a musical. Yeah, it's sort of like Mr. Jenkins is a little bit like Catnip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And they give America the power to influence the game, just like they're the cat mother, picking people out.
I want to go back to the case of the missing Crocs, if I might. For
Oh, do you?
Yes, I'd like to. Do you feel like, are they really trying to, is that move to put James over, Alex?
It doesn't hurt. I mean, I think it's just, trying to make something out of nothing, which is what you have to work with. But, yeah, I mean, James is one of the few people left, and he's been a steady narrator all season. And the James and Natalie thing is like, something that they have latched onto clearly. So it's,
yeah,
more intended fan service. I think they definitely think they're giving the people what they want.
Nicolette in the chat says, please no more Crocs, Rob. All right, so let me go into some questions here as we get into the start of this competition. This is from Percy Jackson fan 42 says, do you think that Grodner is pushing the James AFP edit too hard? This is from Chris Fernandez. Is Vic a lock for AFP now that he got an edit about his laugh a la Keisha in BB10? And then Brendan Villegas wants to know, can we please have a fight soon about a consensus for AFP criteria? I'm not sure if he wants the LFC to fight about it or if he wants to fight people about it in some sort of a debate. But let's talk AFP. Ian, do you have a favorite in the race?
I mean, the thing is, I would want Paul to win it, but the thing is that I think he'll be hopefully in the final two, so I think that sending him votes is not prudent. So I think Victor, let's give it to him.
Give it to Victor. Alex, in terms of the BB538, how is this looking to you in your exit polling?
I have no idea. I mean, I think people are voting for Victor by and large. I did think it was interesting that even at the end of the episode, I think they talked about, oh yeah, it was as the announcer was going off and they're finishing the competition. The announcer's like, and don't forget to vote for America's. And at that moment, like James looked up at the sky. I don't know if you noticed, but I enjoyed that. It's like he had a sense of they're plugging my thing.
Yeah. Taran, is this just fan fiction that Victor has a shot here? Do you think that this is James's award to lose? Or is James only going to be damned by his own success potentially getting to the final two?
That's what I think it could be. I think that James might make it to the final two, and then I think we might see Victor as the winner here. But that said, I think that a large part of the audience is disconnected from the internet world that a lot of us occupy, and it wouldn't surprise me if James made final two and then Victor still didn't get it and somebody like Natalie got it. You know what I mean? So I really don't put a whole lot of stock into the Victor stuff. I do think that it would be nice if Victor won, but I'm not gonna hold my hopes up too high.
Okay. It was reported today that Dr. Will Kirby was going to be back to host the BB18 jury segment. Alex, have you gotten any word from Dr. Will how that all played out?
I told you it was happening, Rob. What more do you want from me? I prepared you for the inevitability of the situation. I spoiled
that he confides in you about a lot of things.
Yeah, no more spoilers. I've already given it up.
Okay. Well, he told ZapToIt.com this is the most entertaining jury he's ever seen. Ian, you were there for a Big Brother Canada jury segment at one point. So what should we take away from that?
From what? The fact that Will said it was the most entertaining, or what should you take away from any jury segment in general?
No, that Will's calling it the most entertaining jury he's ever seen. What should we expect going into Wednesday night?
I mean, personally, I've never found that segment to be very interesting. So hopefully,
even when you did it,
I mean, I thought I had a good time doing it, and then I watched it and I was like, oh, that was okay.
You're too hard on yourself.
I mean, I heard good things. I heard bad things. What can I say?
All right. Well, that'll be all part of.
They left out me slamming Cindy. I just made fun of her the entire time, and it was just completely left on the cutting room floor. I don't know.
That is incredibly disappointing.
Yeah.
Oh my God! All right, slamming with an S. Yes.
Will talked a lot about how the jury was very angry and confused, and he said that he thinks that people that come into the jury with a set opinion are really unintelligent, and he found that that wasn't really the case with this jury. So I really do think that we're in for a very up in the air jury that doesn't even know what they're going to do themselves.
Okay, so that'll be all part of Wednesday night's taping. This is from Kirsten, who says, did you see the article that defined Julie Chen as a super fan? How do we feel about this / how believable is this? Now, have you guys seen this article?
I don't know if I've seen this particular one, but I have seen a lot of Julie articles.
Yeah. Julie is a super fan. I mean, why not, Ian? She's seen every episode, presumably.
I mean, that's more than some super fans on the show can say, right?
Oh,
this is what happens.
Ian. How dare you?
Super fan in history.
Here, let me get it straight.
I'm literally the worst super fan in history.
People have been riding us hard this entire season for saying, oh, Michelle's not a super fan. But this is what happens when you get loose with definitions. It just goes all over the place.
Yeah. Alex, is this why people need to quantify and say they are a super duper fan?
I didn't like super fan. I hate that. Can't you just be I just don't like the term. I'm
a duper fan.
I'm not gonna go if I was ever to go on Big Brother, and that's why they're never gonna cast me. Is because I wouldn't say I'm a super fan. That's it. You're not.
What would you say? What would you say?
I'm a diehard of this game.
Diehard.
Yeah.
Oh, Alex is too cool.
Super fan. It makes me feel weird. I don't like it at all.
Just that term. It kind of makes my skin crawl because my super fan.
Thank you.
Of you know, Rob.
Yeah, I get you.
It's like they cast a certain type of player and they want you to come in. All right, tell us you're a super fan. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that.
Alex, would you go with Die Hard or Ride or Die Hard?
Depends on if there's two of you or not. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So no super fan, no super duper fan. Go Die Hard fan. That'll be code for any of our listeners who get on the show in the future seasons.
Can I just get something straight with Alex? So you're willing to dress up in a kitten uniform and run around chasing a laser pointer, but you don't want to be called a super. That's where you draw the line.
Got it. Yep. I gotta have my principles, Taran.
Okay.
All right. Brock Tree 4, where do the Sitting Ducks rank as a duo? Ian, in the great history of Big Brother duos, is the Sitting Ducks high on the list? Did they do enough to be considered one of the greatest duos in Big Brother history?
Let me put it this way. If we were having that BB18, which do you want to come back poll, I mean, I could certainly see them comfortably above a lot of the choices that were listed there, easily.
Okay, so you like it. You're shipping Victor and Paul, the Sitting Ducks.
It's fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yes. Are you just partial to them because they mentioned a duck and you were in the Quack Pack?
I mean, I don't really like ducks that much anymore. I haven't thought about it since 2013. So
I haven't thought about a duck in years.
Yeah.
I thought I was out, but they just keep bringing me back in with these ducks.
Yeah. Darius makes content. Was Pablo a more entertaining house guest than Zakiya? Does Pablo like it when you ask him questions, Ian?
Pablo loves questions, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Just try to get him to answer one, though, man.
Right. Boy. I was gonna get into things. I will not. I'm not gonna go to the Uncle Austin's trailer. Steven says, so was this episode better or worse than the Ziggy Marley Fun Fair? Oh, that's interesting. Taran, what do you think? Recap 1 or recap 2 if you had to pick?
I mean, Ziggy Marley is legendary. I don't think that anything can come close to touching the Ziggy Marley episode. It's redundancy. It's showing almost zero new clips, getting some Ziggy Marley action, some carnival game action. I mean, it was just top notch in terms of recaps.
Yeah, I agree, Taran. I think that the first recap was spectacularly bad in terms of this one we've been accustomed to, that this is almost like a tradition. This one, the fact that we shoehorned a carnival in the middle of the season with the Ziggy Marley concert, Ian. I don't know if we'll ever top that.
I mean, I guess in those terms, it's kind of like the snakes on a plane of Big Brother recaps. Like, it's so bad, it's great.
What's the name of the Nicole snake, Alex? What is it?
Nicole.
Nicole on a plane. I've had it with these mother friggin' snakes on this mother frig plane. Okay, frickin' is what she says. Walter Niemi, BB Trivia. Who are the only people to smoke this season? Oh, do we have Ian? Do you have the answer to this question?
I don't think anybody smokes regularly. I know that Frank is a casual.
Let us know in the chat room.
Frank was a casual smoker. I know that. Like he likes to smoke when he drinks, but other than that, no.
He's no super fan smoker.
No super.
Yeah. He doesn't have like the Marlboro jacket.
Don't say diehard smoker, Taran. That's a different connotation. Yeah. Okay. TV watcher mogul. Past house guests always say that they never watch the show afterwards. If that's true, why? Why do you believe them? So,
I don't know.
Okay, Ian, how about this? Do less Big Brother people watch Big Brother after the fact than Survivor people watch Survivor after the fact?
I mean, I feel like with Survivor, it's a lot different because you're watching this live, right? With your probably with your friends at like a bar or something. With Big Brother, that's the thing is I watched it like once, maybe a couple episodes, maybe twice, but then after that, never again, and I will never watch it again. It's just really awkward to watch. It's really, really weird.
What about future seasons? Like, I feel like that there are less Big Brother people that watch the season after them than even Survivor.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I would say for sure. I think Big Brother attracts like a younger crowd, maybe a lot of whom
millennials
don't really care about it.
Never cared. All right. And JP Talks BB says, does the casual audience actually like this stuff? Do they believe they sat around at brunch and organically talked about memories? Yeah. Ian, this is a good question. Is the casual audience like, are we just like overserved from the season of live feeds and podcasts that, we haven't talked about this stuff? For the people that just watched it one time through, is it just like, oh yeah, this is fun to go back and reminisce?
I guess, you got to put something on, right?
Yeah.
It's Friday night, there's no Amazing Race anymore, Rob.
Yeah. Hey, it still exists, Ian. It's just in the can.
Oh, it does? Okay. Well,
yes. It's just in case of emergency, we're going to break glass. Like if MacGyver falters for some reason, if for for any reason that doesn't work out.
MacGyver, not only is he pretty cute, it looks like such a good show.
Yeah, so it's gonna be fine. Once Natalie gets out of the house and tells her friends to watch MacGyver, it'll be fine. No, so
now that I'm hearing that Amazing Race might not come back, how terrible would it be after all these years of having QT 3.14s? I finally might actually get one, and then Amazing Race gets canceled. Just the ultimate kick in the butt there.
Oh, wait, so you think that you're planning you and Big Meech go on the Amazing Race?
No, but I remember whenever 3 years ago when I started, it's like, if you date one of those chicks, there's always the Amazing Race. It's like, that's always on the table,
Hey, it's not canceled. It's just on hiatus.
All right. Well, maybe so.
Yeah.
You just need to last long enough with Michelle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, well, we'll see. We got to see how it all plays out. Maybe that could be what brings the Amazing Race back.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
All right. So we still have some live feeds to talk about.
We do.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Let's hit it. Let's talk about it. All right, here we go. So if you're bouncing out here, we'll see you finale night. Jordan Parhar is going to have the coverage from the Big Brother 18 finale coming up Wednesday night, 11:15 p.m. Eastern time. But let's talk live feeds.
The Office of Civil Defense has issued the following message. This is
a spoiler.
Warning.
A spoiler.
Warning means that an actual
spoiler
against this country has been detected and that protective action should be taken.
Last spoiler segment of the season, guys. That's it. Put it on ice.
Wow.
Then we put the buzzer away. That's
so long.
it.
Yeah.
Until September 29th when BB18 starts. So the last spoiler for 13 days here on the podcast.
It's going to seem like forever, Rob.
Yeah.
We're gonna be new people.
It's gonna be a long 2 weeks. Ian, are you pumped up for OTT? You're down with OTT?
I mean, I'll probably pay attention to it like peripherally, but I don't know about watching. It's gonna be like Big Brother Canada. It's gonna be like how I treat Big Brother Canada.
Oh, pissed! That's a slam.
You know, I'll like look up how it's going on Wikipedia or something, but you know, not actually watch the show.
All right. What if OTT is the best season ever, Ian?
Okay, well then that would be like Big Brother Canada 2, where I actually tune in.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll see. All right. So, Alex, all right. So, talk to us about what's going on here in the week-long HOH competition.
Paul won part 1.
Oh. Yeah. So, you seem down about this, Alex.
No, it's just, it's a statement of fact.
Yes. Okay.
He was the best cat.
All right. So this is a big night. This is huge.
Friendship.
Yes. All right. So Taran, how did it all play out?
Basically, Nicole dropped out first, and then James apparently was trying very hard, even though Paul thinks he might have thrown it, or at least he was telling Nicole that he might have thrown it. But James did try hard and then fail as well. So Paul earned this one. He won the competition. He's feeling good, and now he really wants Nicole to beat in the next competition so that he can go up against Nicole, and he thinks that he's set at that point.
Why Nicole in the final? Like, I would love to have James up against me in part 3 of the final HOH. That doesn't make any sense to me why he would want Nicole in part 3, Taran.
I mean, I think he somewhat understandably thinks, part 3 is probably just a crapshoot, although he's talking like he could beat James easily. But I think what it really comes down to is that he really does feel like he has a better shot against Nicole than he does against James, and he thinks he might lose against James. And he also thinks that Nicole, I guess, is more likely to take him than James is, which is also not the case. So he has a couple of things maybe not completely correct. Granted, we don't really know how the jury's voting at the moment, but he has seemed to have swayed Nicole a little bit. She was very anti-taking Paul last week, and it seems like she's considering it a lot more now, now that he's talked to her a lot, and James is cocky, thinking that both people are going to take him, which he does think that. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and it really still could go in many different directions.
Ian, real talk. Give us the scouting report on Paul as a player. Is Paul a good player, an average player? What's your take on him this season?
Okay, so I thought about this already because I figured I would be asked this. Paul is the best player this season. However, I do think that, and it pains me to say it, but if you really want to think about it in terms of who has really maneuvered the game the best and done a good job of not having to win the competitions, getting themselves far and putting themselves in a position where they can get to the final 2 with someone they might be able to beat and maybe win against, I have to say Nicole. But she's there in her second time. And when you go in your second time, you kind of know what to do because there's rookie mistakes that you're not going to make. So I think that Paul on a second time would absolutely beat the crap out of her. I think he's much more talented, but I think that she just has the experience and kind of knows how to maneuver things well. She's done really well final 7 onward.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting thing to bring up, and it's something that I don't feel like has been talked about very much, where, is Nicole graded on a curve at all? Because second time, I mean, obviously you sat in the final 2 with Dan, and you won on your first time versus Dan on his second time. Right. Is that something that the jury factored into the equation, or was that just something that they only thought about, like how you were with them and how Dan was with them, and that's how they made a decision?
Okay, so I mean, you always get like this thing. Well, we definitely had a preference. I mean, for me, I wanted a first-time player to win as well. Like, that's kind of like how I thought, because we recognized we kind of felt shafted. We got dumped in with 4 of the best players of all time against rookie newbies that, we're still trying to figure out how to play the game. So that didn't sit well with me. And I think that it's kind of similar, though the only thing is, this time you have like James, Nicole, Davon, and like Frank. I can't even think who the last one was. But they're not top tier, right? So that's the thing, is it's a fair fight. At least it felt like it was like a fair run, a fair go.
Yeah, they didn't
so-
come in as coaches too, which is, I think, another thing that really alters the dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's take a couple of more questions as we go into this. TV watcher mogul Corey, educated, athletic, avoided comp beast label purposely, yet not viewed as strategic. 3 times evicted and loved. What am I missing? Alex, are we sleeping on Corey? And if so, are we dreaming about Harry Potter?
We're sleeping on him how? Like, he can't win the game. He's out.
But are people saying that Victor is, that Corey is not being thought of as a strategic player or a fan favorite while Victor is?
I mean, he's not a fan favorite. Victor, you have to understand that, like, Victor, Victor has the arc. You know what I mean? He's got the TV friendly arc of, like, I'm out and I'm going to fight my way back. And that, like, what Corey did this season, which is like kind of like blend in with the furniture for a long time and then eventually make a couple moves. Like, that's not sexy Big Brother, right? Like, it's
Why do you say he
effective.
blended in with the furniture? Because somebody is literally sitting on him in this picture? Is that why?
Yeah, someone made him into a bench, like for a fact.
Has anybody seen Corey? I'm going to sit on this couch here in the backyard and I'm going to relax and I hope that no butterflies land on me while I am sitting here waiting for Corey to come back.
Rob, we couldn't have slept on Corey because Nicole was too busy doing it. And I feel like that's another factor, right?
So,
and I am going to literally sleep on Corey right now in this comfortable chair. It's like a lazy boy that Mama C has at her house. Watch out.
Mama C, I think you just crossed. Mama California.
I know. I did not, Terry.
It's become a universal.
California house, you're getting a butt whooping by Mama C.
Yes.
I was going to say, I don't know what Carolyn Rivera has to do with anything here.
Yeah, baby. Yes. Yes. All right. Sadie Holloway says, you guys didn't like Paul's choice to keep Nicole, but what about the mistake to keep Paul over Vic? Nicole should have stuck to her guns. Big mistake by Nicole, Taran?
I did kind of feel that way. I felt like Paul might have been the bigger threat here. Honestly, both in competitions, or not actually both, but mostly in competitions. And then also in the sense that James would look at Victor as much more of a threat than he looks at Paul. So instead of being in a position where James is going to take Paul over Nicole, it would probably be a situation where potentially James is going to take Nicole over Victor. That said, I think Victor is a much bigger jury threat given what we saw in the jury. And ultimately, James probably isn't going to win that final HOH anyway, so I'm not sure it makes that much of a difference. Ultimately, I think I would have evicted Paul, but I don't think it's a huge difference in the same way that it could have been with Nicole and Corey.
All right. Alex, when is part 2 of the final HOH?
Sunday.
Okay. All right. Let's go around the horn one last time. Taran, the winner of Big Brother 18 is who?
Paul.
Okay. How about that?
Friendship.
Okay. Alex, the winner of Big Brother 18 is who?
I hope it's Paul, so I got to say Paul.
Okay.
Friendship.
I gotta try to be optimistic right now.
Yes. Yeah, you've been so down tonight.
Recaps have these effects on me.
You're like in Audrey mode. You need to like go under the blanket and cool off.
He's stuck in recap mode. He needs to get into recap mode.
OTT is around the corner, Alex.
Oh, joy.
Yeah. All right. Ian, the winner of the person that will join you in the Big Brother winners email chain is who?
Okay, so I want to preface this. I think I may have told Nicole the secret to the final part of the final HOH and how to do well with that.
Oh, my.
And yeah, I think I might have told her.
Can you tell us what it is?
A year ago. Yeah, sure. So I guess it won't be a secret, but the way.
Well, you should just tell us after the episode.
No. This should be public information. The way that you answer the questions is not by the answer's content at all, because people could just make up random stuff, right? The way that you think when you're answering those questions is what specific verbiage, what wording, and how, like, what words does that person use, and would that be in their typical vocabulary or would that not be in their typical vocabulary? Because one of those was written by someone else. So you have to think, if someone is saying a word that they normally would not, you don't think they would know, or you don't think that they would ever use, or you have never heard them use before, then that's probably the one that was written as a wrong answer.
Okay.
That sounds like Rupert tweet strategy to me, Rob.
Yes, yes, it is. That's right. All right. So, Ian, the winner of Big Brother 18 is?
I'm still going to say Paul anyway.
Okay. All right. So it's a clean sweep.
Friendship.
So we are so ready to be disappointed.
Yep.
Yeah, this is so Big Brother. They have us right where they want us, and they've set up for a James win coming up on Wednesday night. So just to jinx James, or is this Alex? What's going to happen if I say James is going to win? Am I jinxing James, or is it going to come true like when I said Bridget was going to go out in the double eviction?
It doesn't matter what we say. James is going to win.
Okay, James is going to win. That's right.
Fist.
Yeah. James is your winner of Big Brother 18.
James sucks.
Yeah, sorry. It's the winner of Big Brother 18. All right. So Ian, you'll be someday some Hearts of Reality in a picture with all the winners, including James. Get ready. Get ready for that. Get ready to get pranked at the winners winners brunch.
Yeah, I'll have breakfast with me, James, and what was that? The girl from Survivor Philippines. I can't think of her name right now.
Denise?
Abby. No, for
Abby
some reason,
Maria.
no, I'll tell you, at the most recent Hearts of Reality, they auctioned off like a breakfast with me and Abby Maria, and I was like, this is the most random pairing that they could have ever come up with. Like, it's such a weird cross section of like, what were they going for here?
Downer.
Yeah,
Okay.
James will be on hand to loosen the tops of the salt and pepper shakers.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm dumping a man,
Shaving cream.
It's really annoying.
With me, your dad.
Yeah. All right. So that's going to do it for us here tonight. What do you think, Alex? You want to go to hashtag snake hole on a plane?
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
definitely.
Oh, yes.
Okay. There you go. Oh, my God. All right. So fun stuff. Ian Terry, thank you for joining us on the recap of the recap, too.
Thanks for having me.
Great stuff. Follow Ian Terry on Twitter. Hope to see you out here this week, Ian Terry.
I will be in town.
Too late, Terry, on Twitter.
We'll see what happens, but I definitely
right.
will see you. I mean, I assume you're going to the.
I'll be at the finale. I'm probably not going to go to any of those parties. I got too much
nothing,
millennials and Gen X stuff to talk about.
Not going to go to Mertz Jam or whatever it's called this year.
Yeah, I got to see.
All right.
How could you miss the Mertz show, man?
Yes. All right. Taran on Twitter at Armstrong Taran, and Alex Kidwell at Alex Kidwell. So plenty of good stuff to check out from the podcast this week. If you haven't had a chance, check out the new layout on robhasawebsite.com. Thanks so much to Scott St. Pierre behind the scenes. And make sure you subscribe to the podcast to not miss any of the stuff going on. Also, we had a podcast with Mike Bloom over the weekend to talk about our preseason feedback. So subscribe. Go to robhasawebsite.com/iTunes. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.